Robinson. Good morning, Robinson Rockets and very special guest. At this time, please silence your cell phones. Students, this is a very friendly reminder this is not a pep rally, but rather a formal and very special ceremony. Thank you in advance for your respect of this event and the people that it involves. At this time, please rise for the national anthem played by our very own Tyler Hill.
Good morning, Rockets. Please rise one more time for our pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now for the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
And now for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated.
At this time, we would like to welcome some very special stage guests. First, Congressman Pete Sessions, Superintendent Michael Hope, Assistant Principal Spencer Somerville, Ross Caraway, one of Gage's former coaches, and 3 Service Academy Committee members, United States Air Force retired Lieutenant Colonel Harrod Rayfuse, United States Marine Corps retired Colonel Bill Bauer, United States Air Force Major Joe Hunt, our Mayor of Robinson, Greg May, and our Robinson ISD School Board. Thank you for being here today. Today we gather to celebrate a remarkable achievement and get to honor one of our own. It is absolutely unreal to have the opportunity to stand before you as we recognize Adrian Gage Gonzales. Gage has been appointed to one of the most prestigious institutions in the country, the United States Military Academy at West Point. Gage is only the 2nd student from Robinson High School to be appointed to West Point. This is by far one of the best moments I've gotten to experience in my 12 years of being a principal in Robinson ISD. For those who may not be familiar, West Point is not just a place of higher learning. It is a place where the future leaders of our nation are shaped. It's where discipline, integrity, and excellence are woven into the very fabric of everyday life. Being accepted into West Point is no small feat. It takes grit, perseverance, and an unwavering commitment to service and leadership. I've been blessed to get to witness Gage showing grit on the football field, in the gym on the powerlifting mat, on the track, and most importantly, in his academic classes. Gage has shown these qualities in abundance, not only excelling academically, but also serving as a role model through dedication to his community, his classmates, and his personal growth. This appointment is the result of years of hard work, sacrifice, and a belief in the power of setting big goals and working tirelessly to achieve them. But today is not just about Gage. It's a reminder to all of us that no dream is too big, no goal is too distant, even when being raised in a very small town in Texas. If we've learned anything from Gage's journey, it's that with determination and the right mindset, anything is possible. West Point didn't come to Gage because of luck. It came because he believed in himself and was willing to put in the work, day after day, to turn that belief into a reality. So, as we celebrate this incredible achievement, let's also ask ourselves, what are our dreams? What are we willing to do to actually achieve them? Every one of us has the potential to accomplish great things, whether that means excelling in academics, athletics, the arts, or beyond. It starts with setting goals and then committing ourselves to the hard work necessary to reach them. For some, that might mean applying to a prestigious academy like West Point. For others, it might mean pursuing a career in a different field, or even just becoming the best version of ourselves every single day. The path is different for everyone, but the formula remains the same. Dream big, work hard, and never give up. Let's follow Gage's example and remember that we too have the power to shape our futures. The journey may not always be easy, but with perseverance, resilience, and a belief in ourselves, we can achieve anything. Gage, we are incredibly proud of you and look forward to seeing all that you will accomplish at West Point and beyond. Your success is an inspiration to us all. To Gage's family, thank you for shaping Gage into the young man he has become. It's been a joy to watch him grow the last 4 years. We are so grateful to you all for being here to celebrate with us today. Now, it is my pleasure to get to introduce to you one of the people Gage asked to speak on his behalf today. Gage's former coach, as well as current assistant principal, Spencer Somerville.
First, Gage, thank you so much for asking me to speak. I can't think of any higher honor. I'm grateful. Good morning, Robinson High School and guests. You know, they say that all the greats are known by a single name. Well, I have the honor this morning of recognizing a young man that many of us know by just one name, Gonzo. I knew Gonzo back when he was just another freshman with short hair, no mustache, and a slightly confused look on his face during track practice. And now he's standing on the verge of something extraordinary, heading off to the United States Military Academy at West Point. Let that sink in. It's incredibly rare for a student from Robinson High School, or any high school for that matter, to earn a nomination and appointment to West Point. It's the result of hard work, grit, leadership, and the kind of character that you cannot fake. Not on the track, not in the classroom, and definitely not as a cadet. I've had the privilege of knowing Gonzo as both his assistant principal and his head track coach. Just last week at the district meet, Gonzo came up to me before the 4x200 meter relay and asked me to time his split for old time's sake. It was a nice moment. Maybe it was the adrenaline or the pressure of competition, or maybe it was the wind flowing majestically through that hair. But I've timed a lot of his races over the years, and this was his fastest split ever. I went back and looked. I was excited for him, but I wasn't surprised because that's who he is. He doesn't coast to the finish line. Gonzo accelerates. I began to notice this remarkable drive during Gonzo's sophomore year. Not many kids actually like track practice, and to make it worse, our track surface at the time was no good to run on, so we practiced on this makeshift track that Coach Clemens and I spray painted on the grass across the street. And the grass sometimes was really muddy from a leaky pipe under it, and sometimes that pipe might have been a sewage pipe. It wasn't great. But Gonzo attacked that grass over and over on those early mornings. He told me about the times he wanted to post that season. I could tell we were kindred spirits in our passion for track and field. Now, only one of us was actually a good athlete, but we did both care deeply about the RHS track program. I'll let you figure out who the good athlete was. And now I'm excited for another iconic institution, one that's maybe just a little more prestigious than our track and field program. I don't know, it's arguable, to be the object of Gonzo's passion. And that's West Point. I have just a few more thoughts for everyone here. First, to Congressman Sessions, thank you for being with us today to recognize Gonzo's achievement. Your nomination was the first step in opening this incredible door, and we're deeply grateful. To our students, let Gonzo be a reminder that the path to greatness starts here in the halls of Robinson High School. It starts with hard work, with sacrifice, and with leading when it's easier to follow. It starts in the quiet moments at RHS, the early morning workouts, the studying, the time no one sees when you decide who you want to be. To our teachers and staff, thank you for pouring into students like Gonzo year after year. You help shape leaders, scholars, and difference makers. Gonzo's success is a reflection of your dedication, and today we celebrate that as well. And finally, to Gonzo, your journey is just beginning. And while you'll soon be trading in the track spikes for boots and the long hair for probably much less hair, and the mustache for definitely not a mustache, you'll always carry with you the pride of Robinson High School and the admiration of everyone here. Gonzo, we are so proud of you, and we know you'll make us even prouder in the years to come. Congratulations, Cadet Gonzales, or perhaps it's Cadet Gonzo. Go Army, beat Navy, always run with your toe up and your shoulders relaxed, and thank you for your service.
Good morning, Robinson. My name is Ross Caraway. I was one of Gage's former coaches here at Robinson. And before we get into the rest of my speech, I just wanted to just go ahead and separate yourself for the moment. I've always thought that Gage had a true doppelganger in the famous Hollywood actor Elijah Wood. Can y'all see it a little bit? Elijah Wood? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it was just me. I'd like to thank Gage and the entire family for allowing me to speak on this huge honor today. My first encounter with Gage was on the sidelines during junior high football games. Gage played with an incredible spirit and a determination, often sacrificing his body to make a huge stop on defense. But I could tell that Gage might be undersized in comparison to some of his peers. Would he allow this or any other limits to overtake his strength of heart or his willpower? Time would tell. In early grades, we often look for things to have in common with others. In high school and after, we seek things to set us apart from others. Gage entered my powerlifting team in high school to demonstrate to others that there is something inside him that is ready to be put on full display. Let me give you guys some numbers. As a sophomore in high school, Gage was outlifting the juniors and the seniors. He squatted 385 pounds, benched 270 pounds, and deadlifted 450 pounds, and he did all of that at 148 pounds himself. And he won numerous medals along the way. But it wasn't just those final numbers that stood out. I always preach to my students and athletes that how you do one thing should be how you do everything. Gage put everything he had into every rep, every practice, whether it was football, track and field, powerlifting, or just a simple recreational game. And it wasn't always perfect, but the effort was always perfect. When you take this attitude in life, you lift up those around you. And isn't this the essence of leadership? Our words can be powerful, but they can also be misleading. The one thing that Gage always leads with are his actions. And that kind of realness is sometimes what's lacking in some places in our society. But thankfully, West Point Academy saw in Gage what we already knew to be true. A strong, courageous fighter who wouldn't let other people's perceptions stand in the way of his ultimate goals. So today, we're very grateful to West Point, and we all celebrate Gage and this new chapter in his life. Gage will always be an extension of my family and our Robinson family as well. And we want to wish him the best of luck on this new journey. Congratulations.
Today, I am delighted to introduce to you a man that has served our nation in the United States House of Representatives for 26 years. He was born and raised in Waco, Texas, attending local public schools and throwing newspapers for the Waco Tribune Herald. He is a proud Eagle Scout and a man of great faith. Throughout his personal and professional life, he has always been involved in community leadership activities. His father, William Sessions, was the former FBI director and raised him to be a man of public service and servant leadership. Today, he continues his father's legacy by serving in Congress representing the 17th Congressional District of Texas. With that, ladies and gentlemen, Congressman Pete Sessions.
Good morning. Much goes through my mind today, but the words that came to me are winners do things that losers won't do. And that is what you are seeing right before you today as we look at Gage. He has done things throughout his life. He has surrounded himself with men and women of character, and he has brought this forward, not just for himself, but I believe our community. Thank you so much for taking time to be here today. As you can see, Gage Gonzo has his friends and family that are with him today. I find it very interesting that the community and his coaches also refer to Gage in a way, Gonzo, in a way that I did as we left the first meeting that we had at TSTC. I referred to him as the hair god. He showed up for an interview to make it in the West Point with a full head of hair, which is a little bit unusual, but there's also a saying, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. The committee, of which some of the members that are here today looked past maybe some things that might be obvious, but more to the substance of who Gage is, the substance of the performance that we are expecting from him, and perhaps more importantly, the fight in the dog and the dog who will be in the fight. Today, while I will speak directly to Gage about some things, I also, as your great young principal noted, each of you are not spectators. today, you're involved in part of the process of your life to develop yourself, to see some things that may not have come around to Robinson High School in the last few years. And that is not just a chance to have your favorite congressman here, but perhaps more importantly for you to see one of your own, a young man who you have known, who began his not just thinking, but leading, acting, and process based upon a big dream. And that is something that each one of you, whether you're in ninth grade or 10th grade, perhaps a junior, you need to begin in that process yourself. It is never too late to begin the process of your dream, your opportunities that lie ahead of you, and perhaps more importantly, the things that will make your life important. As a member of Congress, we all have ideas about our service. And today, what I'd like to do is to read to you one of the favorites sayings that I think that embodies what I try and make my service about, and perhaps you will find something in this. I know Gage will. On a wall in the basement of the United States Capitol in Washington, there is a bas relief that depicts a Greek warrior engaged in mortal combat with a snake. The artist captures the precise moment when the warrior raises his sword to strike the death blow. Underneath the tableau is one word: courage. Artistically, physical courage is easy to depict. Moral courage is another matter. Moral courage requires taking a cold, hard look at the circumstances and the world, and then acting and accepting the consequences, knowing that the greatest good will ultimately be served. Moral courage demands sacrifice, the subordination of self-interest to the interest of others. To be morally or intellectually courageous requires a basic sense of honesty and integrity, coupled with the will to act decisively on those principles. Moral character is of great matter in a leader and will inevitably affect the substance of that performance. Courage, character, and performance cannot be separated. Each of you in this room are part of what I call a great generation. We learned about the greatest generation, and that is our grandfathers, our grandmothers, who guided this country through its dark hours to make sure that we achieved and bringing America not just from a sleepy past to be the greatest nation in the world, but perhaps more importantly, a challenge for the future. Each of you have grown up knowing this great young American philosopher, Buzz Lightyear. And Buzz Lightyear threw down the gauntlet when he said, "From here to infinity and beyond." And while each of you know that, we all have a tendency to take in stride at our own pace those things that would be necessary for us to move forward in our life and to meet the challenges. Gage has also taken that opportunity. And today, I'd like to highlight on some of the differences that Gage has encountered and will encounter as he goes to West Point in Upper New York State. And that is what is called the Code of Military Conduct. And while I don't want to read the entire code, which he will memorize in just a few months, I'd like to let you know that I think that there are some in this crowd who either could serve our armed forces or may be willing to take that big step, the big understanding of committing yourself to this country through academics, through character, and personal fitness. Code of conduct, number 1. I am an American fighting in the forces which guard my country and our way of life. I am prepared to give my life in their defense. Number 2, I will never surrender of my own free will. If I am in command, I will never surrender the members of my command as long as they still have the means to resist. And perhaps the greatest one, number 6, I will never forget that I am an American fighting for freedom, responsible for my actions, and dedicated to the principles which make my country free. I will trust in my God and in the United States of America. Oh, young rockets, please hear me today when I say we need each of you to have character, performance, and to bring forth with your life. But Gage will be a part of the fighting forces and leadership of this nation. In just a few short months, he will be completely broken down with the other people who become cadets. He will be broken down, and then they will all be raised together. They will all be raised to work as a team. They will be raised to be prepared with character and leadership to lead young men and young women in the defense of this great nation. This is a high standard. And I want you to know, Gage, I'm very, very proud of you. And each of your speakers have spoken to piece parts of exactly this success model that you have achieved. I want to say I'm very proud of you. Gage, I'm going to have you and your favorite principal come forward at this time. I want you to know that this school, the people in this community, will pray for your success. And every time there is a mention of the United States Army, West Point, or our fighting men and women of the armed forces of this country, you will be on their mind, at the top of their mind. A common denominator is that our men and women, not just of the armed forces, but of law enforcement, all have one thing in common, and that is our strength and confidence through not only our flag, but in this case, what I have flown over the United States Capitol in honor of today's presentation that will reside in this school in the trophy case as a reminder that each and every one of you have contributed to him, but that this country places itself with prayers for his future. Thank you very much for agreeing to accept this. We're going to get a picture here real fast, Gage. Gonzales. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Are you up next? Ladies and gentlemen, it is important the day that we're doing, but it's also important to hear from the man of the hour. Gonzo, go for it.
Good morning. Good morning, Robinson High School. My name is Gage Gonzales, also known as Gonzo. Have had that name since the 7th grade, and they've stuck with me. As many of you know by now, I will soon be heading to the United States Military Academy at West Point. The journey has been about far more than chasing top grades or being the best athlete. It has been a test of my character, my discipline, and my integrity. West Point is not just about academics and physical endurance. It's about shaping the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. And that ethos, that balance is something I'll carry with me, not just into the academy, but for the rest of my life. I've learned that success isn't just built on achievements that others can see, it is built in the quiet, unglamorous moments when no one is watching. It is forged in the sacrifices, the late nights, the early mornings, the moments of doubt, and the persistence to keep going anyway. I want to share a quote from one of the proudest Americans to ever live, Mr. Theodore Roosevelt. He once said, "It is not the critic who counts. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood." In that arena, there will always be critics, people who doubt you, who question your character and integrity. I've heard it all. But I've come to learn that it's not a fair character flaw to be criticized. The true test of character is what you do when you're faced with it. Do you fold or do you rise? You know who you are. It's your values, your choices, and your commitment to your own vision that call the shots for your life. To anyone chasing a dream, never be afraid to fail. Take initiative. Be bold. Be an innovator. You may face adversity, but you will learn more from being persistent than you could ever. You get out what you put in, and for me, this chapter has meant working behind the scenes, working when nobody's watching, when it's just you and your reflection, holding yourself accountable. After countless long nights studying, training, and honing my craft, I've hammered the final nail in this chapter's masterpiece. Now it's time to move on to the next, a chapter built on even higher standards, tougher challenges, and greater purpose. To uphold the integrity of the Constitution of the United States. I want to thank Congressman Sessions and his incredible team. Thank you for saving my life and providing me with the opportunity to be a part of something greater than myself. To my family, Mom, Dad, Bama, Grandma, Grandpa, Elias, and Joe, Pop, Gigi, Pappy, Bo, and the rest of my incredible support system. Thank you. Your love, sacrifice, and unwavering support have been the foundation of everything I've accomplished. I carry your strength with me into adulthood. This is just the beginning. I'm ready, and I'm honored to take the next step. Thank you. Go Army, be Navy.
Thank you all so much for being here today. This has been incredibly awesome to get to witness. Um, I'm usually not a crier. Uh, Gage, we're so very proud of you. We will pray for your safety. We'll pray for all the tough things that are coming, it sounds like. And we know you're going to make us very proud. All right. Without any further ado, teachers, if you will, when I say go, start escorting our classes back to class. We'll go to second period and get our phones and backpacks.